Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the Bible Book by Book. If this is your first episode that you've watched, I'd love you to go and check out some of the other episodes. Do like this episode if you enjoy the content. It's great because I want to see other people learning more about Scripture. Today I want to take you to just a little passage from Jeremiah chapter 17. So I brought you to this beautiful green space to do this, just to captivate your imagination a little bit. And there's a passage, a prophetic passage that we find in Jeremiah chapter 17, and it says this: "Cursed is the man who trusts in mankind, who depends on flesh for his own strength." Cursed, dead, is somebody who believes that humanity and people can give everything that we need. Whose heart has turned away from God. Cursed is somebody that's rejected God and thinks that humanity, men, could solve all the world's problems and give us everything that we need. He is like and the word says, bush in a wasteland. He will see prosperity. He will not see prosperity when it comes. He will dwell in the parched places of the desert, in a salt land where no one lives. Cursed is the man who trusts in people and the teachings of people, and he'll be like a bush in the wasteland that will not produce fruit. Bushes in wastelands don't have great roots. They're little tumbleweed kind of bushes, and the moment wind comes they snap off and they blow away. Cursed is the man that believes that mankind can give everything you need. Actually, in this passage it says he will be like a bush in the wasteland. When they translated the Bible from the original Hebrew to English and they came across the word Aurora, they didn't know what to do with it. So they said, "What's Aurora?" And they translated it as, well, actually it's a kind of bush. So they put in there, okay, well, he's like a bush in the wasteland. But actually the word Aurora is almost like if they were to say an oak tree, or were to name a specific kind of tree, a sycamore tree. He's like a sycamore tree. What do I know about sycamore trees, or what do I know about oak trees? Well, actually, what's named here is the Aurora bush. So we have to ask ourselves, what is an Aurora bush? An Aurora bush is a tree that grows out in the desert. And if you were to see it from a distance, it would look beautiful. It's not got great roots, but it is able to produce fruit. And if you were to approach that bush, you would see this succulent fruit on it. And if you were a traveller in the desert, you'd be like, "Thank the Lord has provided." So you go and take some fruit from this tree, and if you were to bite into it, you'd notice it would sort of go tss, and there's nothing inside. It's nothing but dry air. In fact, what they used to do is take their bows and their arrows and they would dip it inside the dry powder that you would find inside the fruit on the Aurora tree, and they would use it in warfare. And if they were to hit you with that bow and arrow, even if the arrow didn't kill you, the toxin inside the fruit would. The fruit of the Aurora bush is toxic, which I just think is really interesting, just to unlock this passage. Somebody that trusts in mankind and trusts in all that what human beings can give, they're like somebody who may look like they're bearing fruit, but if you're to cut into that fruit, it's toxic. Toxic fruit. And then the passage goes on, "But blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. He's like a tree planted by water and sends out its roots by the stream." There's another kind of tree that grows in the Middle East, and it's called an acacia tree. Now these trees, they put down deep roots. In fact, their roots can travel long distances. An acacia tree can grow a long way away from water because it puts down deep roots. And that means, because its roots are deep, it means that when the season comes and there is drought, it can gain all that it needs from the stream or from the water source. In fact, it says here, an acacia tree, this is the kind of tree that it's talking about, will be like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when the heat comes. Its leaves will always be green. There's no worries in the year of drought. Never fails to bear fruit. Why? Because its roots go deep down to the stream of living water. Just one of the challenges with this passage from Jeremiah. What kind of tree are you? Are you a tree with shallow roots? Or are you a tree with deep roots? Are you a tree or a bush that looks good on the outside, but if somebody was to cut into you, your fruit is toxic? Or are you the kind of tree that's put down deep, deep roots, roots that go many miles, and when those seasons of difficulty come, actually you can still keep bearing good fruit because you are gaining all that you need from the stream of living water? Are you an Aurora bush, or are you an Acacia tree? And that's the kind of what Jeremiah is saying. I hope you find it interesting and inspiring that this passage is talking about two very different kinds of trees, and we miss it in the English, but in the Hebrew we kind of pick this up. I hope you find that interesting. Grace and peace.